meeting. Am I not on? Here we go. I know there's so much excitement and energy because of our annual meeting right now. So with that, I would like to call us to order by opening us in prayer. Please pray with me. Gracious Lord, we give you our thanks and praise for this day. We thank you for calling us here. We thank you for calling us to be the church. So as we do church business this day, may we do so with gratitude, with respect, with honor, with dignity, with love and compassion, as we share with one another as folks say yes to serving, to us saying, looking over us, being good stewards of all that has been given to us, and continuing to walk with you, Lord, for you are the way. So may you continue to guide us in all that we do and say as we come to you in this time. And all God's people say, amen. So I now will turn it over to our vice moderator, Kent Kowalski, who will kind of go through our agenda with our receiving of the nominating committee.
Sounds good. All right. Good morning, everybody. You guys hear me in the back? All right. Okay, good. So as you saw in the bulletin that we put out, we've got three things today. Receive the report from the nominating committee, election of officers, and then finally the approval of the 2026 budget. So I'm going to go through the first two of these, and then Ralph is going to come up and talk through all the details of the budget. Ron, our treasurer, decided to be in Colorado this weekend, so he might be on TV right now, so we'll see. All right, so the first part is, first of all, I would like to thank all of the deacons, the nominating committee, the exec board members, and all those that have finished their term this year and are coming off now. A lot of those are in the back of the bulletin that you can see, but that's incredibly helpful. And we've had fantastic people, especially our three from the board that are coming off. So I really want to thank them for their time. It's worth your time, to be a part of that when somebody calls you. I'm going to break the nominating report down, and we'll do a voice vote in three parts. And what I'll do is ask for any additional nominations. I will tell you that we've got great candidates that have all accepted, and so we won't list them here unless they know they're going to be on the list. So we quit doing that. Just kidding. So for executive board for the class of 2028, we have four nominees: Jan Leonard, Carol Long, Jim Rosenbaum, and Janet Vaughn. And Janet, if you'll remember, was actually filled an open term that we had, a one-year term, but she has now agreed to go ahead and take a full term. So I would ask if there's any other nominations from the floor on this. Seeing none, and Cecilia Johnson is here today to record all of our details. And I probably should have said this up front, but we do have a quorum. We did a quick count while everybody sat down, so we're in good shape for today. All in favor of accepting the executive board class for 2028, please say yes. Yes. Anyone opposed, please say no. Carries unanimously. I appreciate that. The next group I'm going to do is the nominating committee, endowment, the clerk of the congregation, and the treasurer. The nominating committee, first of all, appreciate the nominating committee and the part that's coming off for all the work they do to fill our slate for this year. But coming on for the class of 2027 is Ralph Dalton, Elle Hygas, Bridget Matson, and Carol Sleeth. And then for the endowment committee, which is a major function, it's kind of behind the scenes, but extremely important, is David Bailey and Tim Hygas. The clerk of the congregation is Cecilia Johnson, up for nomination again. And Ron Silver is our up again for treasurer. Ron didn't read the fine print when he agreed to be treasurer. He's actually on it for 20 years. And he's not here today, so that works. Any other nominations from the floor for these? Okay. I would ask all in favor of accepting the slate of nominees for nominating committee, endowment, clerk, and treasurer, please say yes. Yes. Anyone opposed, please say no. Okay. The last group is the Board of Deacons. And again, it's a big group, but they do a lot. So it's very important that we have this new class coming in. I'm actually going to read the nominees, and I appreciate that a lot of them are here today. Jan Chapman, Lindsay Gehrig, Carol Hoke, Kay Hoolan, Lois Litterist, Carla Mabus, Lauren Padgett, Ann Ragsdale, Claire Seschel, and Bella Simons. Mandy Ellis, Heather Wallstrom, Diane McCormick, Billy Block, Laura Kowalski, and Pat Fenolia. And I would ask if we have any nominations from the floor for that. Yes, Ann.
I would like to nominate Karen Williams.
Okay.
And I will say she's already accepted.
Okay. If that looks like a plant, it was. Carol has agreed to be part of the deacons this year, and she'll be fantastic. So thank you for that. I would ask for acceptance of the slate for the Board of Deacons. All in favor, please say yes. Yes. Anyone opposed, please say no. All right. And that was you can see the nominating committee that's coming off of this year down at the bottom of the sheet. So again, Ron, our treasurer, is out of town right now. Ralph is going to come up and talk through the budget, and then we'll take a final vote on that.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Kent. You do have the 2025 financial report in your bulletin, but I would like to go through that before we talk about the 2026 budget. This year, the FFC Finance Committee focused on making our money work for us. There were three major areas. We pursued better interest rates on the money through that we collect on each Sunday. We opened a money market account through Schwab, earning an average of 4.25%, and that exceeded the 2.35 that we were in just leaving the funds in the bank account. We also had a CD mature this year, and those funds were added to the money market account. Depending on what decisions may be made this next year, we may put that money back into a CD, but we felt it was more convenient and earning a better interest rate at this particular time and putting it into that money market. Our online donations, a transition to PayPal, from PayPal to Vanco. This was a process that helps the givers cover some of the processing fee if they wish. Vanco also provides a better tracking process for all of us, and so far that has been a successful changeover. And to stretch our dollars, restricted escrow, not endowment, funds were used to pay for some associated expenses this year based on the requirements of the specific fund. So what's driven by the restricted escrow, although money to us, still needs to be spent on a specific purpose. And overall, the finances for First Federated Church remain on solid ground. For endowments, there are four categories. Those are the restricted, unrestricted, roof, and Hazinga funds. And for a further breakdown of that, three funds are invested in long-term growth, with a portion of the annual gains used to supplement our operating income, as we have for the past years. The Hazinga Fund is used to support long-term and capital projects, which are tracked separately from the operating budget. All the funds in the endowment were made excellent returns this year. Not including the Hazinga Fund, we had 11.8% return, or a total of $314,000 plus. The permanent restricted endowment, and this didn't get into the statement that we provided, so I want to add it. Permanent restricted endowment is $1,144,991. The unrestricted endowment is $1,806,614. So both endowments continue to be strong. And the Hazinga Fund, which is dedicated to projects in the church and LTC, grew by $31,000, and the Hazinga Fund now has $854,000. And again, we appreciate the generous gift from Mr. Hazinga and the fact that we've been able to use it for some improvements and benefits to the church without dipping into building and grounds budget or into other funds. So it's been quite helpful. Receipts and expenses from our operating funds, although the church and LTC are tracked separately internally, we try to combine results as much as possible. The reduced results from the stewardship campaign last year led to an increased use of our general reserves and restricted escrow funds. Unrestricted cash flow is $254,430 end of October, and due to the timing of our reports, the latest that we have is October, and I'll address that in just a moment. As mentioned, unrestricted escrow, not endowment funds, were used to pay from associated expenses, and these match the requirements of the specific fund, including an escrow account that was used for the erecting the flagpole and also for the flag and ongoing maintenance for there. At the end of October, our combined church and LTC expenses are $902,804 compared to a combined revenue of $727,249. In December, there will be a planned endowment transfer of $141,500 that will significantly reduce the gap. And based on historical receipts and expenses for November and December, we will still see a shortfall, but I think it's going to be more than half of what we had anticipated in the 2025 budget, more like in the area of $100,000 or $120,000. So due to a variety of things during this year, we were able to make a dramatic cut into that from the budget. And we anticipate a shortfall in we anticipate the potential shortfall less than anticipated at the beginning of 2025. And I think of note that Ron made here, which I think is critical. The church's committees should be commended on their thriftfulness and careful financial stewardship. As we mentioned to the committees, don't cut your costs because you want to cut your costs. Make sure the programs are being served, and if you're able to save money through that, then that's for the good. But we're not here to try and cut our programs. We did see an increased cost for heating and air conditioning due to increases in energy rates. An increase in maintenance costs also impacted expenses. In 2026, Finance and Building and Grounds committees will evaluate our energy situation to identify potential options. On the maintenance side, the Building and Grounds Committee continues to look for preventative maintenance and not just for repairs. One thing I want to add that's not in there, and again, this was all occurred after we had to produce this report, but we'll talk more about it. Several years ago, the Executive Board authorized the withdrawal of up to 6% from the endowments. The principals would remain untouched. This decision for up to 6% was done in compliance with our bylaws, and traditionally we have been using 4% in the past few years. However, the Executive Board, again in compliance with the bylaws, authorized 6% for 2025 and 2026 only. This decision was made in December as a means to help reduce our shortfall. I want to add to that that was made in an effort to help be a stopgap measure. It's not a permanent move. It's not intended to be that way, but it does give us some flexibility. I'll address that a little bit more in the budget report. And the final 2025 financial report will be released in January. We'll have all of our totals and final pieces from there. So I did want to provide you with that annual report, and I guess if there's any questions on it, certainly feel free to ask. I think we have a microphone here somewhere if we need to address it. What's that? Oh, that's the 2026.
She's asking for the numbers.
So we don't go down to that level of detail in that. What he's reading from is actually Ron's monthly
Analysis.
report, but it's something that if anybody's interested in getting a copy of it, we can definitely send it to them.
Okay, sorry, didn't.
they're saying that they didn't get the numbers for 25, but we know that that's coming out in January when we have the total, correct? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, in January, we'll have a complete 2025 report.
Any other questions? All right.
Okay, next up is the request for the vote on the annual budget for 2026. The annual budget that you have in front of you is different from the one that was received in the mailing. That's because there were some additional giving that occurred, which we felt very thankful for that. Also, there was some refinement for the expenses, so I'm going to go down in the various areas and mention to you where the various expenses occurred from there. First, I want to take a look at the expense side. The first update was based on the increased insurance. We anticipated an increase of about 12%. It actually came in at 16%, excuse me. But because we had anticipated an increase, it only added about $2,000 to the overall expense portion of the budget. The important thing to keep in mind is that the increase in insurance for LTC is reported under property and building. However, for the church, the increased insurance is increased under the admin for FFC. So it actually hits two different places. We split the insurance up, 1/3 for LTC and 2/3 for the church here. And that's how that hits that particular budget. And I said I think that only increased about $2,000. One of the things I did want to mention is the Finance Committee, and actually we've had a bit of discussion on this. Next year we want to take a look at the insurance, not really from the standpoint of saying we want a different carrier, but to deepen our understanding of what the cost of the insurance is, what areas we may be able to have an impact on our insurance coverage, and realizing everybody's insurance costs have gone up, but rather than just saying, well, that happens, we want to take a look at that and see how we might be able to impact that and modify some of that increase from there. There was a small decrease in the percentage of pension percentage, and this impacted in the non-ordained staff, so that amount decreased somewhat. And the non-ordained staff for that, because they have coverage through the pension, is for Cecilia and Russ. The administrative staff covers all of our part-time people that we have from there, and the ordained staff is Pastor Ed and Pastor Steve. Let's see. Touch base on those. So the total expenses that is budgeted for 2026 is $1,137,475. Now I want to take a look at the receipt side. Do you have my water handy? Sorry, I'm fighting a cold, so. Thank you. So for the receipt side, as I mentioned, one of the increases that you're seeing is in the 2026 pledges, increase of $11,000 over what was originally published from there. As often happen, late pledges come in and giving, and we certainly appreciate that and what that does for the help of our budget. The next one is Life Together Center revenue. And actually, this year, the Life Together Center is probably going to gain about $100,000. That's the highest it's gained at any time. And it's Jenny who is coordinating all the rentals and those things, has really been doing a good job. However, because it was this year that we reached 100,000, we didn't feel comfortable because of variabilities to move our budget number up to 100,000, so we stayed with 85,000, which we had last year, but we certainly hope that comes to fruition next year, again, that her increase in what she can get through various events that occurs have an impact from there. One of the things I want to mention also is in the missions area. We normally have a spot, and this is actually under expenses, In our missions, we have an expense of $44,200. The reality is we receive much more than that. That mission money is what we dedicate for the mission committee for their various programs. We have a lot of money that we receive that we pass through. We do not budget for that money, so that's why you do not see a missions line on receipts. And traditionally, and especially this year, that's going to be $50,000 of mission money that we're just passing straight through. And that's a variety of things that we have from there. The rummage sale, Passport for Hope, other items from there, the gift trees, things of that. Back to the transfer of money from the endowment account. Again, we're using the 6% for that this year. That was approved by the board in accordance to the bylaws. It was only for last year. And this year, we're taking a look at some plans to help us reduce what we need to withdraw, as well as eliminating some of the shortfall that we're seeing. So if you take it all into account for expenses and receipts, it appears, or at least we're proposing, a withdrawal from general reserves of $87,851. And again, that's the amount we've budgeted. That never comes out until we're at the end of the year and actually know what type of money we actually need. So that money is not put in reserve to help us meet the budget. That money is out there, if you will, as a marker, and then at the end of the year, we understand how much we have to withdraw from general reserves, if in fact we have to. But there's some things that the Finance Committee have talked about that we really feel can have impact on that $87,000 shortfall. And I just want to go over a couple of items, excuse me. Over the past few years, we're starting to see some trends in our giving. I think we now have a better picture of some of the changes that have been occurring. There's some changes occurring nationally. Maybe we don't quite mirror that, but there's still changes going on. So the Finance Committee is going to be doing some in-depth investigation in giving, range of giving, things of that sort, to better understand and look for ideas that can drive additional receipts coming into the church beyond what might be considered a traditional pledge drive. Also, our expenditures at FFC have been consistent, but for utilities, heating, cooling, and electricity, something all of us are experiencing, we have it has an impact on the budget. Building and Grounds, the Finance Committee, and some members from the church are going to be getting together and take a comprehensive look at all of that heating, cooling, electricity, and look for options that might be available for us that we can have an impact and better control of that. And I want to add to that is the money, again, with Huizenga, as well as what we do with the regular budget. Building and Grounds have been taking a look at things to be proactive and not just reactive, and some of those things have actually come to fruition. And then the final thing I want to mention, the Finance Committee has started to look at a 5-year budget plan, especially in certain areas that we've seen increases, to try and give us a handle on what things may be looking like in the future. Again, it'll be somewhat speculative, but we do have some trends that I think will help us drive that from there. So that's a look at the overview of the proposed budget for 2026. I'll open it to the floor now for any questions that there may be. Sorry.
Is it available, will we have the ability, or can we have the ability, not before today, of course, but to see side by side in a table, like 2025, receipts compared to 2026, even like a 3, 2024, 2025, 2026? I just think that would help provide some clarity. I know we're talking through it, but for a member that's not actively involved in this, it would be helpful for me to see it side by side in numbers in the same place, to be able to just kind of see how both sides have grown or decreased, as well as, is there a description area or of the budget where we see a quick description of what each of these items entail. I know you've done such a great job up there, but just to have it, it might just be a good thing to reference. So I just wanted to ask if that is available now, or if it could be available to members to be able to better understand all of this.
Yes, the idea of side-by-side, I think, is fine. That's a good idea. We look at that as the board and finance committee, so we haven't, that's things we can look back on to show us trends. That's one of the things I was talking about from there. Yes, a summation of the various areas, we can do that. I could do a quick rundown if you don't, if you'd like me to, or we could provide it in a mailing as we go through from there.
We went through talking about it, but yes, if I don't want to add too much to, of course, place, but I just feel that could be helpful, yes, for future, but not for today, unless others felt they wanted it.
Yeah, we could produce that and actually send that out. So, yeah, not a problem from there. Good point. I appreciate that. Yeah, the trending is really, we go back 3 or 4 years, and then we have additional material. So the side-by-side that we see is very helpful. Kent wants to add a couple of things.
So yes, we all that information, I think we're better off if everybody understands where everything comes from in the budget. One of the things that we talked about doing, I was hoping to do it this year, but we didn't get it done. But I think we've talked about for next year, maybe on a quarterly basis, having an after-church session over the Life Together Center where we go through the budget. So yeah, we really want to be transparent with that. As Ralph said, we've made a lot of progress this year on a lot of things, but a couple of things too that I think you'll see us have a focus on next year, in addition to the financial part of it, is continuing to grow our membership. You know, are we coming out of the survey? Back up one step. Thank you all for sending in the information on the surveys. We're taking that information and I'm expecting by the January board meeting, we're going to go through that with the board, and then we'll put information out to the congregation. And here's what we found. And from that, we already know we're going to have a lot of good goals for next year. So we're not, you know, it's multi-legged, you know, so the finance is one end, you know, keeping our finance in good shape, getting our investments, those types of things, getting the stewardship that in line and keeping that going, but then also keeping growing as a church. You know, we've got amazing things happening. We have great staff, great resources, those types of things, but taking full advantage of what we already have. So we think the combination of all that, you know, will continue to strengthen us going through the road. Okay.
Yeah, appreciate that, Ken.
There you go, done. Can we go ahead and vote?
Yeah, any further questions? Hold on a second.
This is nothing against our young man Wesley, but as far as the property goes, throughout the summer and so far this winter, I have personally noticed things not getting done. There is a fence behind the dumpsters that has been laying on the ground for quite a while and not getting picked up. It's making our property not look good. The mowing throughout the summer, trimming's not being done. I know it's in our budget to pay this young man to do these things. When are we going to start seeing him do it?
This is probably a pulpit and staff question.
Can you guys hear me? So I understand what you're saying. The fence actually came down not too long ago, and once the weather gets a little better, and that we'll put it back up. It was actually the way it was put together originally that we had a problem with. So the wind knocked it over. So we're going to fix that. Yes, we had some changes last summer for building and maintenance. I think Wes has come on in August. He's doing a good job. We've got more to do. He's learning how to do things. I think we're going to do more this year to set up a defined schedule. But I would urge anybody, if you've got questions about maintenance, I know we have things that don't always get done right away, but we're always welcome to take information on that or suggestions. We also, if anybody would like to come to a property and grounds meeting sometime, you're more than welcome to do that too. So yes, we are aware, and I think you'll see that improve this summer. And actually, I will add one more thing. Sometimes people get questions about things. One of the reasons we wanted to do the survey is because we think people always have concerns, that they don't know who to go to. But if you always look at the back of the bulletin, you'll see the list of who the executive board members are, and you'll also see like a little asterisk next to my name this year as the vice moderator. So please, one of the things that we do with that is we'll take those things, concerns you have, don't let them set, let us know, and we can either address them or let you know what's happening with them. So yeah, Dan. We have not. So my goal is we've got them done, and I appreciate we had about 100 responders, and so we've started the process of going through them. My plan is to have it at the January board meeting for the board to go through, here's the results, and then we will publish out what we find. But it's already been good. I mean, I think, and you'll see us do this every couple years, I think, safe to say now, too. All right. I think we're ready to take the vote on the last part of this, so I appreciate everybody's questions. And again, as we go through the year, please hold our feet to the fire. All those in favor of approving the 2026 budget, please say yes. Yes. Anyone opposed? Okay. I do have one thing.
Okay. Thank you.
I think we're ready to close now.
Yep.
Okay, I've been waiting to do this all day. Wait a minute, gotta find the right one. So I know we can't do this during I was actually planning to have this back here sometime, and when Ed made a big point, I was going to have the color changed. I did not do that, though.
And he did that without the remote. It just responded.
But again, thank you all. I know this is a longer meeting. This really is an important meeting. But we also definitely think that everybody understanding where things come from, we do a pledge every year, and we ask you for things, but the more you know about, how the sausage is made, basically, it's good for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you. So, my friends, as we prepare to leave this space and see if there's still anything in the comments, let us pray as Jesus taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everybody at home, for participating.
Here, this is all your stuff.